One day, Quack Quack's best friend fell seriously ill. Despite the rushing river, Quack Quack, wearing his green hat and green shoes, was determined to cross the river to pick precious medicinal herbs on the other side. The journey was full of danger, but also filled with courage, faith, and true friendship. It was a peaceful morning on the farm, just like any other. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, and everything felt just right. Until something completely unexpected happened. Every single morning, Quack Quack, a cheerful duck with a bright green hat and matching green shoes, would waddle out to play with his friends. They'd chase butterflies, tell silly jokes, and splash in the puddles. These were the best moments of his day. But today, something was definitely wrong. His best friend, Little Bunny, wasn't hopping around with his usual energy. He was lying quietly under a shady tree, looking pale and weak. "I don't feel so well, Quack Quack," he whispered. The wise old dog, Exo, who had seen many seasons on the farm, took a close look at Little Bunny. After a moment of thought, he said in his deep, gentle voice, "There's a special healing herb that can make him better, but it only grows on the other side of the river." Everyone gasped. The river wasn't just a gentle stream. It was a wide, rushing torrent known for its strong currents. It was a dangerous journey for anyone. But as Quack Quack looked at his sick friend, a powerful determination filled his heart. Fear was there, yes, but the love for his friend was much, much stronger. Without a second thought, he found a sturdy rope and tied one end securely to a thick tree trunk near the riverbank. He took a deep, steady breath, his little duck heart pounding in his chest like a drum. He looked across the wild water, his gaze fixed on the forest beyond. Then, with all the courage he could muster, he jumped. The cold, churning water immediately tried to pull him under. The current was relentless, tugging and twisting, trying to drag him downstream. He flapped his wings and kicked his little green-shoed feet with all his might, fighting to stay on course. It felt like the river itself was a giant beast trying to swallow him whole. He kept his eyes on the other side, refusing to give up. Just when his strength began to fade and hope seemed like a distant speck, a sturdy branch came floating by, carried by the current. It was a lifeline. With a final surge of energy, he grabbed onto it, clinging tightly as it carried him the rest of the way. He finally washed up on the far bank, soaked, shivering, and completely exhausted. But he had made it. He was safe. Now for the next challenge, finding the healing herb. He shook the water from his feathers and ventured into the dense, unfamiliar woods. He searched high and low, his eyes scanning every leaf and stem. It felt like an impossible task. But just as he started to worry, a single ray of sunlight pierced through the thick canopy, illuminating a small, delicate plant with shimmering leaves. It was the herb. It was as if the forest itself wanted to help him succeed. He carefully plucked the herb, holding it gently in his beak. It was so precious, a little green symbol of hope. He held it close and turned back toward the raging river. The journey back was just as treacherous. The storm in the sky hadn't ended, and the river seemed even angrier than before. He took another leap of faith, a desperate jump between life and loss, clutching the herb with everything he had. The current was too strong. He stumbled and fell into the swirling water, tumbling over and over. But through it all, he never, ever let go of the herb. When he finally opened his eyes, he wasn't on a cold, lonely riverbank. He was surrounded by the warm, worried faces of his friends. They had pulled him out, together. With hands and paws and wings working in unison, they carefully brewed the medicine, their hearts filled with a shared hope. They gave the warm broth to little Bunny, and then they waited. Slowly, so slowly, a little color returned to Bunny's cheeks, and then he smiled. A real, happy smile. Quack, Quack, tired but overjoyed, watched his friend hop up, full of life once more. He realized that day that while his green hat and shoes were nice, his real strength didn't come from what he wore. It came from the love in his heart and the incredible power of a friendship that can conquer any river. Thank you so much for watching this story of courage and friendship. If it warmed your heart, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more heartwarming tales. We'll see you in the next one.